What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. I am Jay Anthony. I am the owner and founder of Jay Anthony's Auto Sales. Now, just a little bit of clarification before we get into today's video. The title is What It's Like Owning a Used Car Dealership. Now, let me first say this is not a how-to video. This is just a few topics that I want to discuss just based on what I have learned being a owner of a used car dealership. This is not a how-to video. This is not a video for you to how to go out and start your own used car dealership or how to become successful in the used car business. This is not that type of video. But if you are interested in getting into the used car business or owning a used car dealership, this will be a very lucrative video for you to watch because it can help you become successful in the car business. And not only that, it can stop you from getting into some trouble in the car business. But in the meantime, sit back, grab your popcorn, and let's get to work. All right, guys. So before we get into it, I just want to let you know how this video is broken down. I'll break it down into 5 sections. So first, we have rules and regulations. Second, we will have credibility. Third, we will have upkeep. Fourth, we will have financing or finances. And then fifth, we will have reconditioning. So these are the 5 things that I have noticed that can either make a dealership successful or make a dealership fail and hurt, especially in times that we are in as of now. So jumping into the first one, which is rules and regulations. Okay, so what the hell you mean, Jay Anthony? Rules and regulations? What are you talking about? Well, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know it's rules and regulations to anything you do here in America. Man, you know that. We've got that clearly understood, right? So being a used car dealer, what I have noticed is the rules and regulations are different. Why? Because nobody tells you the rules and regulations in the car business, especially years ago when I started. Well, not years ago. I'm sorry, guys. I'm only 5 years in this thing. Let me stop talking like I'm a 15-year, 20-year vet. Let me step back. Let me humble myself real quick. But anyway, yeah, when I started back in 2019, 2018, when I first got my dealer license, there wasn't a course that there is now. Like 3 years ago, they started making us take a course to renew our dealer license or to get a dealer license. Now you have to take a course, which is helpful because it does showcase a lot of those rules and regulations that the car business requires, but they're not all in there. And let me just tie some things in there. The example I'm using is in the course that you have to take. But for example, guys, I use an example for rules and regulations that affected me. And this is just recently, man. This happened probably a month or two ago. I bought a vehicle in wholesale, which means I bought a vehicle from the auction. Let me take a step back from there. Whenever a vehicle goes through the auction, that means either somebody traded into a bigger dealership, like a franchise dealership, and that franchise dealership wants to wholesale that vehicle. So they take it to auction. When it goes to auction, small dealers, independent dealers like myself, we get the opportunity to buy them or bid on them. That's what the auction is. Of course, you can get other independent dealers like myself who want to sell their vehicles. You also have bank repos, stuff like that. But for the most part, dealers like myself, independent dealers, we look for the trade-ins, the franchise trade-ins. That's the sweet stuff. That's the goal, right? That's what we want. Okay, so going into that a little bit, I bought a Yukon, right? I bought a 2004 GMC Yukon. It didn't have any announcements, which means nothing's wrong with the vehicle, right? So whenever a title is absent for a vehicle, they're supposed to announce title absent or slow title, because in the car business, we have 30 days to get a title out. And that's on the wholesale side and the retail side. What do I mean wholesale side and retail side? Well, I mean, if a franchise dealer is running a vehicle through the auction, they have 30 days to bring that title to auction to get the title to me. And on the retail side, me, an independent dealer, I have 30 days to transfer the title to the person that I sold it to the consumer. Okay, so 30-day radius on both ends, wholesale and retail, right? So, with that being said, 30 days went by. I didn't get a title for the vehicle. I did no announcement or nothing like that. But here's where I messed up. I still sold the vehicle knowing that I didn't have the title in hand. I was just thinking that, okay, the title's coming. I ain't tripping on the title, right? Title coming in. But you're not supposed to sell a vehicle unless you either have the title in hand or you're for sure that that title's there. I was not for sure. I was guessing. I was just trying to get the sale, right? You know, but that is an error on my end. I can get in big trouble for that. Not in big trouble, but crazy trouble, but I can be liable to return or refund that customer for their money that they paid for that vehicle because it's a slow title. It's past 30 days. So in this instance, of course, the consumer, me and him are cool, man. He knows. He's probably watching this video. Actually working that out with his bank. I'm talking to his bank. I'm probably gonna get. Actually got the title yesterday, so it's good now. But I'm just using this as an example as to how easy it is to make a mistake as a dealer, just moving too fast. Because, man, you got to understand, man, when you're a dealer, titles, that problem does not scare us. Like a slow title, that doesn't scare us. Oh, no title in hand, that doesn't scare us. We're used to that. I mean, it's just part of the business. It's from experience. You sell a lot of vehicles and you notice that. You notice that sometimes you get a fast title, sometimes you get a slow title, but us dealers, we don't pay no mind to it, man, because we know we're gonna get a title. You know, that's just from experience, man. I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trucks and I've never had an issue to where I didn't get a title. Worst case scenario, I had a problem to where I had to get a bonded title, but all you do is bond the title in your personal name and then bond it back out by transferring it to your dealership. So you bond it in and bond it back out, no problem whatsoever. So everything's good from there, right? But we don't want to go through that, all right? But it's not a problem, man. We don't titles don't scare us, is what I'm getting at. But that is a rule and regulation. You have to wait. So basically, the rule and regulation is when you buy a vehicle, you have to wait 30 days until you get the title. If you don't have the title already, you have to wait 30 days before you can act or you can arbitrate or you can sell. You can't even sell the vehicle if you don't have title in hand. Basically, is the rule. So you can get hurt like that, man. But yeah, just to sum that up, man, you got to be real careful in rules and regulations. You can get into some big trouble, man. You got to also keep in mind, guys, they want us to keep our paperwork for every sale. I don't do that. I don't keep paper copies of my bill of sales, of my buyer's orders, of my as is tags, my all that good stuff. I keep it in PDF form. I keep it in my phone. I keep it in the computer. Um, I mean, we in 2024, dog. Like, you really think I'm gonna be 26 years old keeping paper? Well, the problem is what we run into with that rule and regulation is a lot of us, our small dealers, do not have the manpower to keep up with all of our papers, all of our hard paper. I mean, it's practically impossible, man. You're pretty much asking us to work another job. You know, it's really challenging to keep papers. We're not in that time no more. There's cheat codes to that. Like, I mean, PDF, but you got to keep some form. You do have to keep paper copies. So, like, for example, if a deputy officer came in here knocking on my door, like, hey, drop everything, show me all your paperwork, you can get in trouble for not having your paperwork. Of course, I can show them, hey, I got all my PDFs, I got everything docked. I just don't have the hard copies. I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't get in trouble at that point. I've had a fellow dealer of mine who ran into that problem, and they just had the PDFs, and it was fine. But that is a rule and regulation. But I think they'll change out of that. But it's easy to get caught up in rules and regulations. So, concluding that, let's move on to the next. All right, y'all. So next up, we got credibility. Okay, so credibility is about what you see right here behind me. J. Anthony's Auto Sales. That's what I stand behind. That's where my credibility lies. Whoever J. Anthony's Auto Sales is, that's what they see. Credibility, man. It's all about your honesty and integrity and all of that good stuff, right? And I also will label this section as Make It Right. What the hell you mean, J. Anthony? Make it right and credibility. Okay, well, I'll break it down a little bit. I'll help you out. So, first off, you got to understand, used cars, used trucks, they have a mind of their own. They do what they want when they want to. So at any given minute, something can go, something can happen. Motor can blow up, transmission can blow up, brakes can blow up, power steering can blow up. And I've seen it all as a used car dealer. Every single thing that I just named happened to me before on a vehicle that I've sold. And when that happens, in the position of a dealership owner, you have the opportunity to make it right. And if you make it right, it ties back into your what? Your credibility. That's how they tie in together. Okay, so I'll use a little example. This actually, I am still in the process of making this situation right. So a guy came out to my lot, right? He bought a 2004 Chevrolet Silverado with about 140,000 miles. It was a 5.3 motor. It ran good when he came and bought it, right? He leaves from here. 2 days later, he calls me and says that he found sludge in the oil. He did an oil change and there was sludge in the oil. Truck started running funny and stuff like that. Well, in my mind, I'm like, damn, what's going on with that truck? It was running fine when it was here, right? I got the opportunity to tell him, hey, it's as is, where it is. I'm out of it. Or I got the opportunity to say, hey, man, it's as is, but through the kindness of my heart, I'm willing to make it right because it's only been 2 days. Which option do you think I chose? I chose option B because I care about my credibility. I care about my household name. This is a legacy that I am building. So I care, man. I'm going to make it right. If it's reasonable, if it's within reason. So you go by, you have everything checked out, comes to find out, he sends me a quote for like $1,200. I mean, I said, cool, man. I'm willing to make it right. Okay, so time goes by, no reply. He does some more digging on the truck, and he sends me another invoice for like, what is it, like $2,200 or $3,200? A lot. It was a high invoice. So keep in mind, in the $1,200 invoice, it was already stuff within the invoice that I was not liable for. Like, you got brake fluid, little stuff, stuff that he wanted to fix. Stuff that his mechanic, because you got to understand, man, mechanics, they put recommendations on there. They make you feel like you need that stuff, but it's just recommendations. I hate when consumers go out to the mechanic shop and the mechanics give them that recommendation sheet and they think that's stuff that they need. That's not stuff you need. That's just recommendations. That's stuff you could use. Okay, so all that stuff was in the invoice. I still, hey, cool, $1,200. Fine, man. I mean, I'm trying to make it right. Send me another invoice. Hey, man, this is going on with the truck too. Okay, now we get into a level of entitlement. So this is where you get a battle between the dealer, myself, where I'm trying to be right, but I'm always wrong because I'm a used car dealer, and the consumer, who's always right. The customer is always right, right? Perception. Okay, so that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to make it right. No reply. I told him, hey, $2,000 cash. I'll finalize it, man, be done with it. No reply. So I'm not getting any feedback from him. So at this point, how does it make me as a used car dealer feel? Well, it makes me feel like he's trying to take advantage of me. So it makes me not want to any longer make it right. So this is, I'm giving you, like, this is what it's like, man. This is this is a situation that is going on right now. This is how I currently feel about the situation. I don't want to make it right anymore because it's been months. It's been like 2 months. This is 2 months old, man. We could have been solved this. Why are you dragging it out? You trying to find more problems with the truck because you feel entitled. You want to take advantage of me because you see that I feel vulnerable for you and I'm willing to help. So this is the position a used car dealer can get put in when you're trying to make it right, when you're trying to build credibility. The difference is, how do you handle it? That's it, man. So why is this an important topic? Well, because if you don't make a lot of your situations right, the problems you come across, well, you bash your name. You bash your brand. And that can make you fail. So with concluding with that, man, you got to make sure you keep a strong credibility, you keep a strong household name, and you make things right when it's reasonable. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, y'all. So next up, we've got Upkeep. Upkeeping the used car dealership. What do I mean by that? Well, right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units outside. right? So I've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the garage. 4 of them are for sale. So only 4 of them are a part of my inventory. So that makes 10. I got one right here. That makes 11. So as of now, I got 11 trucks right here in my inventory. Okay. So you got to understand, I've got to take care of every single one of these trucks. So what can happen with upkeep at a used car dealership? Well, this truck I got right here in the back corner over here can go dead because the battery goes dead, right? The typical used car stuff. And I got to put another battery in that vehicle. That's $180. What if that happens to all 11 vehicles? Add it up. That's over $1,000 right there. Gone. Okay. Those vehicles that are outside is 6 of those. They get dirty. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain and thunderstorm and might hail tomorrow. Those get dirty. I'm picky. I keep my stuff clean. That's $150 a pop right there. Add it up. What do I do to substitute for that? Well, I got a little subscription with a car wash. I go clean them up real quick. So I got that part figured out. But it's other things that can happen, man. And another thing I've noticed with vehicles sitting up like this right here, whenever I've had a unit for a little while, although I don't have any stagnant units as of now, everything is pretty much new inventory here. I only got one stagnant unit. But what I noticed with stagnant units, maybe a check engine light comes on, maybe a O2 sensor pops up because it decides it wants to read the cat out, and now I got to change the O2 sensor. That's another 180. You know, it's little costs like that that add up and will beat you up, man. When you own a used car dealership, they sure will if you don't manage them right. Well, for me, I'm in the GMT 800 game, so I know how. I'm in a niche market, so I pretty much know how to preserve or take care of my vehicles to where I don't have to struggle with reoccurring costs of maintenance and cleaning this and stuff like that. Like I said, I got that stuff pretty much worked out. Although every truck has a mind of its own. Every used vehicle has a mind of its own. And you can learn a lot more about a vehicle the longer that you have it. And this ties back into credibility. You want to know why, guys? Because you can find out something you don't want to know about that used vehicle while it's on your lot. Not just after you sold it. No, you can find out why you got it while it's on your lot, while it's in your possession. So you got the opportunity to do what? Be honest or don't be honest. Me personally, I think it's best to be honest because we tie back into that credibility and household name. We got Jay Anthony to protect, man, and we got to protect that at all costs. So we got to keep it all the way real. But yeah, man, that happens too. You find out stuff about the truck that you didn't know because you had it so damn long, and that stuff starts talking to you. It starts revealing itself, and that's just part of the business. But upkeep, how do you stay away from upkeep? Well, you can't. You want a used car dealership, you got to upkeep your used vehicles. That's right. You can't complain about that, Bubba. No, sir. That's part of the business. But finances. And what I mean by finances is basically like taxes, TTNL, and VIT. And you also got investment costs, but we'll get down to that at the end. But just managing the money, right? That's hard. I still, although this is my strong suit in business. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a money guy. I wouldn't say I love money. It's the root of all evil, but I like dealing with money. I like moving money around. I like to put it in different places. I like to see money over here, money over there, money over there, money over there. I like to have money in just different places. I like my money diversified. That interests me. That's an interest of mine. So that's my strong suit. And that's how I can recognize this as being a big flaw for used car dealers because I have seen many used car dealers fail because of the finances. So what you have to understand about the taxes side is for any business, this will apply to any business, not just the car business. You have to be very intentional with your taxes. You have to calculate so many different things. Although this is an area that I still personally struggle in. Uh, Income tax. It's very challenging as a business owner because balancing out what you pay yourself and what you have to pay back to the government, you're like, damn, I didn't even pay myself nothing. And I got to pay back this because you leave a lot of money in your business or whatever the case may be, which is what I struggle with. I struggle with personal income tax. But side note, you have to be very intentional. But where I get in the area where a lot of dealers lose at is TTNL. TTNL is tax, title, and license. Okay, so you got to understand something about TTNL. I'm gonna use an example. Example of $10,000. Let's say I sell a truck for $10,000. Sales tax here in Texas is 6.25%. So 6.25% of 10,000 is $625. So on average, on top of that, you have registration fees, doc fees, and dealership fees. For my dealership, that normally rounds up to about 180 to 250. Today we'll use the figure 180. 180 plus 625 is 805. So we have a total of $10,805 for that specific truck. So this is where a lot of dealers lose. So that $10,000 that you sold the truck for, that's your money. The $805 is not your money. That's Uncle Sam's money. So you have to be what? Intentional. You have to be able to remove the $805 and put it into your TTNL safe or your TTNL lockbox, which I have. I have a TTNL lockbox where I store all of my tax, title, and license cash. It helps me save. I don't put it in the bank. I don't want to see it. I want to keep it in cash because when I go to the tax office to do the title transfers, I pay cash or card or whatever. But I like to have the cash. It's like a reserve for me. That's how I save money as well. I do the envelope method is what I call it. I'll write, right now, month of August, I'm trying to build up an emergency fund for the month of August. So I write out an envelope, August. I already got June, July. I'm working on August. You see what I'm saying? So that's me, though. I'm intentional with money. Now, on the other hand, we got VIT. Now, VIT can't really get you in trouble. This kind of ties back into number one, which is a rule and regulation. So VIT is inventory tax. We have to pay that every 10th of the month. For me, at least, for here in Texas or here in Tarrant County, we have to pay VIT. VIT is, it varies from dealer to dealer. Right now, mine is like 0.00176 or something like that. So you pay back on each unit you sell for the previous month, and you pay back on that from estimate might be $50, $100 a month. Some dealers, it's probably 500. It depends what you're selling or how many you're selling. So it varies from dealer to dealer. But finances, man, can get you in big trouble if you're not managing that money right. Another thing, guys, when you own a used car dealership, you got to understand how much money really goes through your hands, man. When you're selling, I mean, you can sell 5 cars, man. You probably are, and you already touched 50 grand, 40 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of money for a typical person, especially in this climate we're in. That's a lot of money, right? So, what can happen to you psychologically is you can get in the mind frame of being able to spend petty hundreds. And what I mean by petty hundreds is it's easy to spend $100 now. I made 40 grand. I made 100 grand this month. I'm gonna get that $100. I actually fell into this and I still struggle with this from time to time. I do that. I'll just spend $100. I mean, because I've got into the mind training of quantity training of thinking in $1,000 increments. You have to kind of humble yourself and realize that those hundreds add up too. Those 50s add up too. Those 20s add up too. So that's also something else that I struggle with from time to time. I'm pretty good with budgeting, but I do it here and there. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, man, let's say in my head, I'm like, I made 50,000 last week. $100 ain't gonna hurt me. That mentality, guys, can get you in trouble in super bad climates. So you got to be careful with your finances. You got to be very intentional with your finances. But to conclude that, I believe the best thing for the financial side of a car dealership is you have to be set up with a dealer center or a Fraser, of course, to manage your sales and stuff like that. But tracking everything, man, tracking your costs, tracking your spending, tracking your taxes. But the most important, in my opinion, is that TTL, setting that TTL aside. But I won't rant on this too long, man. Let's jump into the next slide. We've got the last and final slide. This one is kind of all clamped together, but I would just call it reconditioning or advertising. So reconditioning / advertising, I'm kind of clamming them together so I can make it 5 slides. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to make it more than 5 slides. But yeah, reconditioning, advertising. Okay, so how can what is this like? What is this side of the car business like? Well, let's start with advertising, man. Advertising is really interesting thing, and it's one of the first things that I noticed was a flaw uh competing against other dealers. So basically at an early age, I went into the auction, I saw what dealers were paying, and I'd be confused as to why they would pay so much. Then I would go online, Facebook, Craigslist, and see them advertising their vehicles for sale. And I'd just be looking back, I'd be like, y'all are lazy as hell, dude. Y'all are lazy, dog. Y'all advertise y'all vehicles lazy. Dude, you couldn't change the headlights? You couldn't detail the car? So I saw that really early. So I would be like, okay, if they're willing to pay that much, then I'm willing to pay this much because I believe I can get more than them for the vehicle just based on reconditioning and advertising the vehicle better, right? So I went in, I started buying more expensive trucks or cars, whatever you want to say, and it worked. I started to change the headlights out, detail the vehicle, spend $100, 150 to get a vehicle detailed, spend another $100 to get the headlights, actually wait a couple of days for the everything to come in the mail, change little stickers. If a sticker missing, order the sticker, put the sticker on, details. That's how I mastered the advertising and reconditioning game. So, but yeah, it's a bragging point for me, right? It sounds good and all of that, right? It's rewarding, but it's a lot of work. It's draining. All of that stuff is draining. You know why? Because when you're reconditioning, which is painting body and all of that good stuff, you get screwed, man. You can get screwed in the car business dealing with what? Other people. Oh yeah. Here we go. I should have put this in the title. Oh my goodness. This where this where it gets complicated. You got subcontractors. Oh, you got to deal with the shady jokers who put money first and love money and they just think about the money. Well, that's what you run into, man, when you reconditioning and buying used parts, going to the junkyard and stuff like that. So putting vehicles together, guys, is really more of a hassle than it seems. So if you're considering getting a car dealership or getting into the car business, you got to keep that in mind, man. You got to be really careful about who you do business with, man, because me personally, man, I've been screwed over a lot, dog. But one of my things is, especially in the car business, like my biggest thing, I never get upset about things that money can fix. So, for example, guys, I made a video not too long ago. I bought a differential. He told me it was a 410 positive diff, and it wasn't. I put the diff on, and it was locking up, tugging, and forward drive. Well, in my mind, I was like, oh, well, I could just rebuild the same differential that was on there. Money can fix it. I ain't tripping. Take that diff off, put the old diff on, and go rebuild it for $600. Money can fix it. So, that's my mentality. That's always been my mentality in the car business. I tend not to be upset by things that money can fix because I just am not going to drain myself being stressed about things that money can fix. Although money's hard as hell to come by, but still money can fix it. We ain't talking about nothing that money can't fix or that's just determined by open will. That's just going to happen by Lord's will. We talking about money. Nah, man, that's worldly stuff. We can take care of that. I'm not feared by that, you know? So early on I learned that and a old man told me that. He said, boy, ain't nothing in the car business your money can't fix, which is not true. But for the most part, it's true. So yeah, man, you gotta be careful, man, reconditioning your vehicles and advertising, man. You can't be lazy. But when you're not lazy, when you set a tone for your business model, you got to upkeep it. And that's what I go through, man. I go through a lot of upkeep in advertising and reconditioning because I've set the bar so high for myself and my company that I can't slack in certain areas. There be certain areas sometimes I slack, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I'll leave a little white. Some of y'all probably bought a truck from me and seen it. It's a little compound on there, like in the crevices. Like I could have got that, but dang, man, I'm drained from getting this truck ready. Can you work with me? But gonna get to a certain point, man, to where that's not going to be tolerated, Jay Anthony. Nah, bro, I'm not paying you $12,000, $15,000 and you got compound on the crevices, dog. You got to get that compound off of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much stuff, man, for a used car dealership. But this entire video is not to bash the car business. It's not to bash the used car dealer. It's not to bash bash owning a used car dealership. Let me finish this video and close this video by saying I absolutely love the car business. I love everything about it. Like I don't I believe in my personal opinion that getting a dealer license wow, shoot. Allergies. Did some of y'all say bless you in the watching the video? Did you say bless you like naturally, like, hey, bless you, J. Anthony? But I'm back. All right. So yeah, I'm not bashing the car business. I'm not saying that it's a bad business to get into. I love the business. I always enjoy the business. It's very lucrative, man. You just got to be willing to go slow and learn one day at a time. But I think it's a great business, man. If you're open to it, you should go for it. You should go for that car flipping, man. Don't do it for the money. Find a type of vehicle that you like and you love, and go for it. It's worth it. It's worth it. But yeah, I'll close this video out, man. I've been doing a lot of ranting. This video is probably long. I haven't really did the math. It's probably between 20 and 30 minutes. But yeah, man. I appreciate all the support y'all been showing to the channel too. I really do. I really appreciate all the love that y'all have shown. Y'all are helping the channel grow. Y'all are helping this thing, man, big time. So let's keep the channel growing, man. Let's keep spreading the word on these GMT 800s. And that's all I really got for you today. Please like and subscribe. J. Anthony. Oh.